Yo, what's up? Can you hear me? Cool. Hey, what's up? All right, so hello, Cello. Sorry, man, I don't know how to say your name if I'm saying it wrong. Arith, what's up? Fernando, Helder, Janie. So to all you guys in my group and in the academy, I'm sorry for not responding to a lot of the questions right away. Still catching up, but I've been in Atlanta at an event called Traffic Mastery Live. It's part of the one of the masterminds I'm in, and basically what Traffic Mastery Live was, it's all of the industry's best media buyers all in one room. So there's people like, you guys might not know these people, but like Justin Brooke was there, James Van Elswyk, Ezra Firestone, Jeff Usner, some of the biggest guys in the industry, maybe that you've heard of or maybe that you haven't heard of. Jesse Itzler was also there, who's a multi-billionaire, and his wife owns Spanx. She's also a billionaire, and he owns the Atlanta Hawks, the basketball team. So there's serious players at this event. Billion-dollar net worth in the room, basically. And I want to kind of share with you guys three of the things that I took away and three of the trends and lessons that I learned at the event. So let me grab my paper here real quick. But let me make sure it's posted in the group here. Okay, so how many of you guys are running Facebook ads? Give me a 3 if you're running Facebook ads. Give me a 3 if you're running Facebook ads. Okay, so a bunch of you. Now give me a 4 if you're running any other traffic source. Influencers, could be shout outs, could be Google, could be organic. Okay, Fernando, what else are you running? What are the traffic sources? And this is going to play into the 3 lessons I'm going to talk about, but just curious. Pinterest. Okay, cool. 0 here, but going to start soon. Okay, no worries. All right, so let's just start off with the 3 biggest things I learned at this event. 3 trends. Now, number 1, the most talked about thing at this traffic event was influencer marketing. And this is not, a lot of it focused on Instagram, but it's not just what you think. So like a lot of what people learn about Instagram influencers, or influencers, I should say, is what they find on YouTube, right? So you guys see like doing shout outs and that kind of stuff with Instagram influencers. Now there were like some pretty big YouTube people there with like 600,000 subscribers, people like Thomas DeLauer. Oh, by the way, this was a health event. So it was traffic, a lot of media buyers that are in the health industry, right? So they supplements, food products, that kind of stuff. But anyway, influencer marketing, they weren't just talking about shout outs, right? So one of the guys actually talked about buying content from people that are well known in your industry. So for example, and it doesn't need to be directly in your industry, but for example, there was a teeth whitening company there, and they actually paid Rob Gronkowski, who is a big football player for the New England Patriots, to promote their product, right? And it wasn't just a shout out. That case was a shout out, but there was also people who would pay influencers just like Rob Gronkowski and pay them a day rate, which is basically renting or purchasing a handful of content made by the influencer to be used in their Facebook ads, in their Instagram ads, in YouTube ads, basically licensing content from these people. So let's say that I'm an influencer, right, for e-commerce, right, and someone wanted to reach my audience, right? They could pay me $1,000 to make them 3 videos. I would sign a paper and I would make 3 videos for them, and they could use it in all of their advertising. So they could use it as Facebook video ads. They could use it as Instagram video ads or story ads or anything like that. And basically what's going on is they're renting the influencer and they're paying them like a flat rate, and they're getting them to make content for the company to use in their advertising. Now, why is this so powerful? Well, let's look at shout outs first of all, right? Let's just say you pay for a shout out from an Instagram influencer. You pay for one shout out. Let's say you pay $100 or something, right? You pay for one shout out and it flops, right? You're out $100, and basically that $100 is spent. You're never going to get it back. What I was just talking about, basically renting the influencer and buying content from them, is I would pay them $1,000 instead of paying $100 for a shout out. And for that $1,000, they would make me 3 to 4 videos that I could use forever in any of my advertising. Now, why was that powerful for me? Well, if you go back to the same example where you did a shout out for $100 versus buy 4 pieces of content for $1,000, I can now use the video. Maybe it's a review, maybe it's a testimonial, maybe it's a product demonstration from the influencer. I can use that in my advertising forever because I own it now as a company, right? Because I purchased it from the influencer. And this is powerful because you're going to get the power of influencer marketing, but it's not going to be limited to just one shout out. You can use this in your marketing for, forever, right? If you signed an agreement. So I'll expand more on this in a later video. But that was like number one. That was like huge eye opener for me, because a lot of what people think about influencers is I'm just going to pay for a shout out. If it doesn't work, I'm going to find a million more influencers to try and get it to work. What these guys were talking about was basically working with an influencer that is already known in your niche. Maybe they're big on YouTube, maybe they're big on Instagram, and you just pay them a flat rate to make a certain amount of content and that you can use in your advertising as long as you want. So that was number one. And a lot of people were talking about influencer marketing and using influencers in your industry because of the rising cost of traffic, right? Facebook traffic, Google traffic, all that stuff. Now, number two, pretty much everybody talked about brand building. Now, especially in drop shipping, a lot of people don't talk about brand building because everyone's out for the quick money, right? Everyone wants to make money now. And, it's hard to get around that. That's kind of how I am too, right? But everyone at the event talked about brand building because they had a quote here. And it was basically, traffic is an amplification of who you already are. So like if you have a crappy product and you have a crappy brand, Facebook ads are not going to fix you, right? You need to have a good product and a good brand. And when you pay for advertising, it just amplifies what your good brand and your good products already are, right? So that just goes into, brand building. It's not like paying for an expensive logo designer and all that stuff. It's basically establishing yourself in your market. And that's why I always talk about niche markets and stuff like that, is because you get to establish trust with your audience, right? You get to build up your recognition, your trust, your products, your brand power just by selling quality products and, even providing good content, right? Let's say if you have like for me, I know that I have to go back now and create more health content for my supplement brand because right now it's all just advertising, right? So yeah, that's number two, brand building. Everyone talked about brand building and making sure you have more content, better products, better customer experience, because Facebook ad costs are going to keep rising, and they're especially going to start cracking down on dropshipping brands who are scamming people, who aren't shipping in time, who are basically providing a bad customer experience. And other platforms like Google already do this, right? So it's going to be more important than ever to actually operate like real business, right? You can't just expect to get a crappy bracelet or a really cheap product and start running ads to it and not provide a good customer experience, right? So that's number two, brand building. And then number three, traffic diversification. So I always talk about this. I still need to do a better job at this because I still rely heavily on Facebook, right? Even though I talk about other sources like Google, Google Display, and other sources off of Facebook, I still rely heavily on Facebook. And the cold, hard truth is Facebook costs are rising. If you do a simple search on Google, you're going to see a lot of controversy around Facebook in the last few months, like on data protection, that kind of stuff. So the platform is going to change. The algorithm is going to change. I do not know exactly how it's going to change because they're under a lot of fire right now. But that was another highlight at the event was, there was native advertising, big guys there that are doing millions a month on ad spend on native advertising. There's guys that were the biggest Google partner. I can't remember his name. I think it was Brett Curry or something like that. He was there as well, and he's like a big Google guy. And the trend that I was seeing was none of the bigger brands relied on one single traffic source. So every single guy there or every single brand or company or person that was there that had multi-million-dollar, close to billion-dollar companies did not rely on just Facebook. They did not rely on just Instagram. They did not rely on just Google, right? It was a collection of these things, and they did have one center. They had one traffic channel that was bigger than the others, but diversification was like a really important theme at the event. It was maybe one guy had Facebook, like Ezra Firestone. You guys probably know him if you're in the e-commerce industry. He's still Facebook heavy, right? But he is also really into Google, really into Pinterest, really into email. He said email is like 20 to 25% of his overall sales. Remarketing back to the customers that have already bought from him before. So Facebook is still his focal point, but he's in all these other channels: Pinterest, Google Shopping, Google Display, Google Search, even Bing. He's in all these different traffic sources that all work together, that siphon into each other, and that flow back into his store. So I know it's hard for you guys that are just starting out, especially if you don't have that much of a budget to learn all these traffic sources. But just keep in mind that when you get bigger, when you start to get sales, when you start to get consistent, make an effort mentally, make a conscious effort to want to learn other traffic sources other than the primary source that you started with. So if you started with Facebook, don't abandon Facebook, right? It still works. It's a lot more expensive, but make an effort to start learning other traffic sources and start with one at a time, right? Don't learn 10 at once. If you've mastered Facebook, start to learn, maybe Google Shopping, maybe Google Display. And you don't have to start cold traffic campaigns on these other sources. You could use it for remarketing, right? Or retargeting. Start to learn email, post-purchase email. Start to learn how to become a better copywriter and use that in your email, right? So once you learn one thing, it's a lot easier to learn all these other things, right? So like once I learned Facebook, I understood all the terminology behind media buying advertising, right? And once I learned Google, it was a lot easier. So just make that a conscious effort. Once you learn Facebook, once you start getting consistent with it, start to think about what source you want to learn next to expand your business. All right. So again, the three things. Number one, the number one takeaway was influencer marketing, renting out influencers and actually buying content that you can kind of use in your own company like forever instead of just buying single use shout outs. Number two was an emphasis on brand building. So make sure that you're thinking like a brand, like you're operating like a brand, giving good customer support, good customer experience, and even trying to roll out content if you can afford it, or if you can hire that out. Try to get content into your email list, onto your Facebook page, that kind of stuff. Maybe even start a YouTube channel. I love YouTube for organic traffic. It's the best source out there. But brand building, have a Instagram page as well. Have a brand presence. Number three is traffic diversification. So again, none of the big guys, none of the big players out there focused on one traffic source. They have multiple traffic sources. Most of them had more than 3 or 4. And that's just the way it is, right? Like once you start to grow, if you start to cap out, if you start to feel like you're not reaching enough people, or you could get bigger off of Facebook, then start to expand, right? There's so many other traffic sources out there, not even just the ones that I mentioned. But diversification is going to be huge, especially with Facebook ad costs rising too. Let's see, do you guys have any questions here? Arith says it's like commercials on TVs, right? It doesn't even have to be like that. So a few of them that people were showing was basically it was the influencer recording a video, like a selfie video, basically saying, "Hey, I got this new like teeth whitener kit. It's called whatever, Snow White teeth or something like that." And they would make like a 30-second testimonial of them wearing it, like a video, and then the actual company used it in their Facebook ads as a video ad, right? And that's huge because then you get to like Rob Gronkowski, for example. You could use that video ad and advertise to Rob Gronkowski's audience on Facebook, right? And I thought that was pretty genius. So that's one thing. Let's see. Any other questions here? Arith, how much time do you think Facebook low price will last? It's probably gone now. Facebook prices are a lot higher. So a lot of these networks will go through up and down times. Like Google went through this too, where things got super expensive. But I think it'll drop slightly again, but don't expect Facebook to drop to what it was in 2016 or even 2017. Cello, aren't Instagram influencers expensive? Depends. If you have like almost no budget, then start off with shout outs. Red says, starting out with 700 Facebook ads next week. Sounds like a plan. I don't know. You didn't tell me your plan. You just said you have $700 for Facebook ads. Alicia says, so like a spokesperson for your brand. That's one way to put it, but Alicia, I'm gonna put a example in the group about what I mean, because there's some pretty genius ones out there, but it doesn't even have to be a spokesperson. It could be like, you just think about like if you had a product that you really liked, right? And you had an Instagram following and you're basically like, I really, really love this new hat that I have, right? And you guys can pick this up at Nike.com, right? And I made like just a very short, like organic looking selfie video, right? With just me talking into the camera, right? And I posted it onto Instagram. That's what some of the people were doing, but with some of like more well-known influencers. And they would use that as a video ad. And the reason they could do that was because they would pay the influencer for the content outright. And while it was a little more expensive, they were making, they could use that same video ad and get way higher conversion rates for as long as they want because they own the video. Malik says, which ad network do you recommend trying first? Google Ads, Bing, Pinterest, Twitter? That's a hard question to answer because different traffic sources will work for different types of products and niches, right? So it's never going to work the same. I know that answer kind of sucks. Google Ads, it's more on the expensive side and harder to wrap your head around, but it has the highest quality traffic. So if you have a Shopify store, I would say look into Google Shopping ads. Nice one says, what's your strategy for testing products on Facebook? Check out my Facebook ads for Shopify mini series. Do you have a course? Yeah, you can check in my description. There's an academy. It's pretty cheap. Alicia says, review the product. They are holding the product and using it. Very smart move. Yeah, exactly. So you could actually, the way they were doing it was, they would reach out to influencers, and these are people with health products now. So like it's very, very mass market products. So if you have a really, really niched product, that's fine too. Just you don't have to find people all like directly in your niche. So like think about teeth whitening, right? Teeth whitening applies to so many different markets of people. So this company, this particular company, was reaching out to people like athletes, right? People like that are models, people that are professionals, business professionals, or something like that. And they would get people in these that would have like an influencer following, and just get them, to do like a 30-second to 45-second review, basically, of them, like a very candid review of them using it. And they would use that video as their video ad. I thought that was brilliant, actually. Brandon J, I feel like I have the knowledge to become a successful dropshipping business owner, but I don't have a PC or laptop. Can I successfully dropship products from Oberlo and make sales without AliExpress? I don't really understand what you're saying, Brandon. You definitely need a PC or a laptop to to use Oberlo, which is a software app. So yes, you do need a laptop, and you cannot start a dropshipping business without one. James, some of the questions here can be answered with the purchase of his course. Strongly recommend it. Thanks, James. Thanks for the shout out. Brandon says, do you sell products on Facebook over 50? Yeah. So my supplement products right now, my average order value is around $140, and I sell those on Facebook. Alicia says, do you have videos on Google Ads? I do not. I do want to release something to the Academy members in the near future. Google's just a lot trickier for me to make videos on because the interface is a lot more confusing. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to turn it into some kind of training for you guys, because I don't know if it's going to fit everyone, because it is more expensive. It's a little more difficult to learn. So maybe in a couple months, I'll release it to the Academy. But right now, I want people to learn one traffic source and then just be thinking about what they want to learn next. And yeah, we'll figure something out. Congrats on 2K subscribers. Oh, I didn't even know I hit 2K. How much do I have? $2,006. Sweet. Alex Martin, I joined halfway in the stream. Can you keep it up, or the Econ Assassins group, so I can watch it later? Yep. Fabricio says, what's a good budget to start with it for a beginner dropshipper? I would say at least $1,000. Brandon says, well, I was told it's very hard to sell products over $50. Do you have a real strong retargeting campaign set up? Yes, I definitely have retargeting. Ask Alicia. She set up her retargeting, and it's crushing for her. Brandon says, I usually go to a library, but it's in incognito mode, so I can't connect the Google Chrome extension to AliExpress. I have a business, but the products on Oberlo are ass. I would suggest getting a computer, man. This is like an online business, so I can't really recommend. I know you're saying you can go to the library, but I would just recommend, if you want to be serious, just get a PC or a laptop. They're so cheap these days. Arith says, what would you do with $700 with Facebook ads? I would find products and I would test the products according to what I put on my YouTube channel. Alicia says, what is the one thing you learned that you are implementing this week from the conference? So there's actually a couple things. Number one is I've already been reaching out to influencers on both YouTube and Instagram. So for my market's it's an older demographic. So it's older people, right? Which a lot of older people aren't on Instagram. So I've been finding influencers on YouTube and reaching out the same way that I would for Instagram to possibly buy have them make some content for me that I can purchase, right? So that's number one. Definitely trying to get some influencer marketing, like ads, like content going, so that I can use it to advertise. And number two is I'm trying to implement more content into my actual e-commerce businesses. So I'm trying to build like a big brand out of my health company, right? And I'll share the actual company with you guys maybe like in a month or so. But there has to be a more emphasis in my business on providing value, providing content first, like how I do for you guys on my personal brand YouTube channel. I don't see why I can't do that for my health business. So that is the second thing. And those are like the two biggest things. Brandon J. God bless you. Thanks you for the advice. I needed it. I got a job to pay for the laptop, but thank you. Keep up with the good work. Appreciate that, man. And yeah, get a laptop, man. If you want to live, not live, but if you want to start it in online-based business, you don't want to be going to the library every day. Brandon says, what advice can you offer for retargeting my retargeting campaign? It cost me a ton of money, very high CPC. What do you think just by random guess and maybe messaging? How can I lower my costs on retargeting? So for retargeting, what I do is number one, I installed a Retarget app. I've always had Retarget app. It's like dynamic product ads, which is, you know, based on the behavior of the customer. So if they went to your store and looked at product A, B, and C, it would retarget them in like a scrolling, like a product catalog retargeting ad on Facebook based on the 3 products that they looked at. So that's like the easiest thing to do. And what I usually do on that app is I just offer a 10% coupon. So I just say something like, ready to make a purchase, come back and buy today, use code 10 for 10% off your order. And it converts very well. I also do manual retargeting, which is based on 3, 7, and it's either 10 or 14 days. And basically the first message is no discount. It's just, hey, come back and buy today. We saw you looking. The second message, after 7 days, they still didn't buy 10% discount. And then after 14 days, they still didn't buy for 20% discount. Now, I also use the traffic optimization goal for the retargeting ad, not website conversion purchase, because it's already a warm audience. So you just want them to click back to your site. You don't care about finding purchase conversion people, because you're just trying to get the warm audience, the people who've already seen your ad and your website, to come back and finish their purchase. Because it could have just been they got distracted, they got a phone call, they got a text message, they got a pop-up on their screen, right? So all you want to do is get them back to your site, which is why I use a link click ad. So those could be ways to lower your CPC and maybe get some better conversions rolling in. But yeah, that is some retargeting advice. Alicia, if you're selling a brain supplement, I'm your customer. I need all the boosts I can get. Yeah, I'll definitely share the company with the group. Probably like with the academy in like the next month or so. I'm going to be doing that free course for you guys on the ultimate guide to finding e-commerce customers online. And this is like a crucial part, like marketing 101, understanding your competitors, looking for products that are already selling, looking at your market and your audience and what they're already buying. And I'm going to use one of my new supplement products as like a case study for that. So Academy members, you guys are going to get that free. And if not, it's going to be $97. So yeah, if you guys want to sign up for the Academy, it is $67 a month, and it's in the description. But Alicia, I'll definitely be sharing that with the Academy sometime this month. And yes, retargeting is the best performing ad pretty much in every case. Fernando says CPM worldwide are so much cheaper than when targeting the US. Do you have experience selling worldwide? Any tips for converting worldwide? Yep, I sell worldwide. More than 60% of my sales are, or not completely worldwide, but more than 60% of my sales are out of the US. So a few tips. I just target English-speaking countries. And then I also target countries that are not poor, right? So like I wouldn't target like Mexico or people that not. I'm not calling Mexico poor. I'm basically just saying where the U.S. dollar is a lot stronger, right? Where it won't make sense for them to purchase, right? So those are the types of countries I target. It's always English speaking because I don't want to have to translate anything, and it's countries that where $1 isn't going to seem like $50 to them. Alicia, thanks for the course shout out. Ben, how do you sell internationally? You just find suppliers and look at products that have shipping to the countries you want to sell to. Find English speaking countries like I told you to, and then add those countries in your location targeting in Facebook. That's the beauty of drop shipping. Okay, I have to hop off here, guys. But if you have any more questions, please ask them in the group. I will be more involved in there probably by tomorrow or next week, actually, because I don't work on weekends. But apologies for the delay on answering your guys' questions. I've been at an event. If you guys are joining late, I've been at an event from Monday until today. So yeah, hopefully see you guys in the group. And thank you for joining this live call. Hope this was helpful to you guys. And yeah, see you next time.